The following episode of Shower for the Soul contains language or subject matter that might not be suitable for children. Listener discretion is advised. Welcome to Shower for the Soul, a podcast where we explore today's issues affecting our mental health and well-being. It's all about life, health, and wealth, and us. Grab a chair and a spot around the table, and let's start sharing. Now here's our host, Shane Fame Alexander.
Welcome back to Shower for the Soul. Shane Alexander here. 1 week ago today, we had Bell Let's Talk Day. And around that time, I came upon this advertisement on Facebook. It's called Bounceback. It's a new initiative from Canadian Mental Health Association of Canada. And we have Angele here today talking about that because I tried to look for it. Well, I looked for it and I found their website, but I just wanted more information exactly on what Bounceback is, because it seems like a really cool initiative from them where it's free. And Angele, let us know what's going on with Bounceback.
Bounceback. Well, I'm glad to hear that our social media campaigns have reached you and hopefully many others in the province of Ontario. So you're right, CMHA Ontario is overseeing the Bounceback program here in the province. But you may have also heard through Bell Let's Talk that they've provided funding to launch this in other provinces across Canada, including Quebec, Saskatchewan. It already existed in British Columbia. So we're not the first to adopt this program. British Columbia, CMHA BC was the first to launch Bounceback in 2008. And then we came on board in 2017. We wanted to get in on this great program because it really has helped so many people. So it is a government-funded free program, as you mentioned, aimed at skill building to support anxiety, depression, manage stress. And boy, do we have stress during this pandemic.
Yeah, so I was going to ask you that. And I have to work in COVID somehow in all my interviews. But how has the response been since COVID? Has it spiked?
Well, I get asked this question quite a bit about, did this program come about because of the pandemic to support people's mental health? It was already in place, but an ideal program, should there have ever been a pandemic, and there was, this is an ideal resource because the program is based in cognitive behavior therapy. Mm-hmm. And I guess the premise of cognitive behavior therapy is changing the way you think, to change the way you feel, to change the way you behave. That is the basis of this Bounceback program, is building skills through cognitive behavior therapy. It is like a self-help skill building program with coaching support. So I can explain a little bit about that. And yes, we are continuously increasing our referrals. Month over month, we see an increase in referrals. On average, we get about 2,000 referrals a month in the province of Ontario only. I can't speak for the other provinces, but we do quite well. And the goal for us is to make sure that people receive the service when they need it as quickly as possible. So we really aim to be a low barrier program. And what I mean by that is accessibility. It's by phone from anywhere in the province. So you don't have to drive or go to an appointment. Wait times typically are 5 to 10 business days after you refer to the program. Mm-hmm. And the other unique feature about Bounceback that makes us a low barrier program is language. And I don't think a lot of people know that, but the program is offered in 15 languages. Many of our workbooks have been translated in Chinese, Punjabi, Farsi, Spanish, as well as English and French. And in addition to that, we also have coaches who speak a variety of language, German, Italian, all kinds of languages that is really dependent on the coaching. So whoever we have available at the time. So we're always adding new languages, in fact. So it's nice to be able to be serviced in your first language, in the language where you're most comfortable. especially talking about something like mental health. So I think that's a great feature of the program, and it's free. So
Yeah.
that's a great piece of it.
Yeah. Now, what's the difference really about this and what a life coach can do?
So again, when we're looking at Bounceback, I want to clarify for anyone out there thinking that this is a counseling program. I know we're addressing mental health, but this is not counseling. This is really to help people with no symptoms. That's something that not a lot of people are aware of. It can be used as prevention, like I said, skill building, but also for low intensity, so mild to moderate symptoms. So it's work. It's not, but it's work. Imagine you went to Kohl's bookstore and you purchased a self-help book. We're going to provide you those self-help books with a variety of topics that are really specific to your needs. You tell us what you're struggling with, and we'll identify a workbook that may help you with that specific need. In addition, we're not going to charge you for those books, and we're going to provide you a coach. This is where your question about how is it different than a life coach. The coach is really there to reinforce the skills, explain what cognitive behavior therapy is. For example, if one of them is, why do I always feel so bad? That's one of our workbooks. It'll give you some concrete examples on perhaps why, and here's some things you can do to help manage that. If you're not sure how to apply that to real life, that's where your coach can really give you a lot of guidance and support you through that. Challenges, let's look, how can we get around those challenges? If you haven't even opened the book and we mailed it to you 3 weeks ago, let's talk about why you haven't opened the book. What were the barriers that got in the way of doing the work? And having that accountability, having that person motivate you, guide you through it. I like to compare it really to like, if you go to a gym, you can go to the gym and use the equipment, but if you were to get a personal trainer at a gym, and even better if they were free, they would help you understand what each piece of equipment, what their purpose is, how it's going to help you reach your goal, how to use it so that it's used in a way that is safe. That's kind of what a Bounceback coach does. They're like a personal trainer for your mental health, but you're doing the work.
Yeah. Now, so it sounds like you kind of trying to nip it in the bud. Now, a lot of people are saying, especially now during the pandemic and being locked down, it's easy for them to say, you know what, I think I'm depressed, when really they're sad. Can they use this to say, oh, let's see if I am actually having anxiety. Let's see if I'm having panic attacks. Let me see if I'm depressed.
Good question. So I've worked in mental health for many years and talked to many, many people who have symptoms of depression or chronic depression, or people who just feel blue and sad. And there is a difference between all of those. And sadness is a temporary emotion for some people. For others, it can develop into something more long-term. Whether you're feeling sad because of the isolation you're feeling through the pandemic, whether you're sad because you're not seeing your friends, you're a high school student or you're a college student and that social connection just isn't there, or whether you're struggling with depression and were struggling before the pandemic, no matter what the reason is for those symptoms, Bounceback may be the right support for you, because it really is, like I said, aimed at just supporting how you're feeling, managing stress, low mood, up to mild to moderate symptoms of a diagnosis such as depression or anxiety, and other conditions as well. It's not meant to be a crisis intervention service or a counseling service. That's where we need to kind of differentiate how we're different from those types of services. And we may not be the right program for someone in crisis, but we're definitely the right program to prevent a crisis, if that makes any sense.
Oh yeah, definitely. Now now you're saying that it's free, and
yes,
I've always thought, actually my dad came up with this, but I'd like to take the whole thing about it. But he always said that it should be part of a yearly checkup for everyone to get a mental checkup. And in Dad's way, he dubbed it the checkup from the heads up.
Oh, I love that.
I love that too, right? So,
Yeah.
do you think that you see this in the future where mental health is getting increasingly accepted, where it's okay to just go to a doctor and say, "Hey, how am I doing right now?"
That would be my goal. I would love to end my career at some point in my life where everybody talks about mental health like they talk about, and I'm going to steal Howie Mandel's quote, dental health. Howie Mandel was one of the representatives for Bell Let's Talk, and I remember seeing his commercial years
That's
ago.
right. Yeah.
You know, we can talk in corporate America, we can talk about our physical health. I can say I'm going to see my dentist at 3 o'clock, but if I say I have a psychiatry appointment or I'm meeting with my social worker or my counselor, that's not okay. Why isn't it okay? It should be. To your point, yes, you should be doing a mental health checkup. Take ownership of your mental health, just like you would your physical health. You schedule appointments for physical, dental work. You go see a chiropractor when you're feeling out of sorts, your body's just not right. You need an adjustment. Why wouldn't you do the same thing for your mental health and well-being? That's what it's all about. It's all about prevention. And this program can be part of your prevention toolkit, so to speak, for mental health. So why don't, instead of your doctor asking you, have you heard about Bounceback? Why don't you ask your doctor to support, to refer you to Bounceback? You let him know, perhaps he never heard of the program. I can tell you that about 10,000 unique care providers in Ontario are referring, but there are still some who may not have heard of it. Take a proactive approach, and next time you see your doctor, say, I'd like to try Bounceback. And you're not necessarily because you're struggling with mental health, because you want to look after it and you want to do that mental health checkup, and just make sure you've got the tools should you ever need them, to tackle a variety of challenges and problems, because we're all going to go through challenges and difficulties. Why not be prepared?
Yeah. And, it's through my whole history, I went from being really reluctant in 1997. But then again, back in the 90s, it was like, do not say anything about you going to see a psychologist because people will think you're crazy. Till now, when it's like, okay, now I see the signs of where I might be at.
Right.
And this is where I should go, and maybe I should see someone now.
You have that self-awareness now.
Yeah. And over the years, it's become even better for me to even talk about it and talk to my friends, say, hey, if you see me acting out like this at the bar, or if you see me do too much of this, let me know. And
that's wonderful. That's what we need.
And that's kind of like what my show is all about, is making it acceptable to just talk about this in daily conversation.
Yeah.
Like, hey, I'm going to see a psychologist, like I'm going to see my chiropractor today, or getting my massage today. Right.
Right.
It's now, does it have to be a doctor referral?
So so again, all this information can be found on our website at bouncebackontario.ca. So when we first launched, only your primary care provider, nurse practitioner, psychiatrist, or physician could refer you. And then we realized perhaps people want to just self-refer. Maybe that would be easier. Again, trying to be a low barrier program. So I'd say almost 1.5 to 2 years ago, we've opened it up to self-referrals. So you have two options. Like I said, at your next checkup, you could go see your doctor and say, hey, I heard about Bounceback. I'd like to give it a try. Your doctor has access through their electronic referral system to refer you. That's an easy way of doing it. The other option is to go to Bounceback Ontario and self-refer. And there's a section where it says get started, and then there's a link to the online referral. And you complete that, it takes about 2 minutes. It will not go through unless you give us the name of your primary care provider. That is a mandatory criteria to participate in the Bounceback program. So again, nurse practitioner, psychiatrist, you don't have to go see them, but you have to identify who they are. Because this program isn't only for prevention, some people come in at the moderate level that could easily become moderate, severe, or severe as you're going through the program. And we need someone to be clinically responsible for that individual should they require more intensive services. So it's not optional. A lot of people ask us, I just want to do this on my own. I don't want to involve anyone. Unfortunately, the way the program is set up, you need to have access to primary care. Now, that being said, a lot of people don't have physicians. You can access a walk-in clinic. We've had a lot of success with people going to a walk-in clinic and asking to be part of this program. I live in Cornwall, Ontario. One of our top referring doctors in the province is actually in my community at a walk-in clinic. His name is, I'm going to a little shout out to him.
Yeah.
And this is great because, for people who don't have access to primary care, we want there to be another option for them because this is such a great program. And when we look at our pre-scores and our post-scores, what we're seeing, the results of this is that if you use this program in its entirety, you complete the program on average 3 to 6 months, you will see a decrease in either anxiety or depression or both. You'll see a decrease in symptoms by about 43%. That's significant for a program that is completely free, no wait times, and self-managed, so to speak. I know you're being provided a coach, but that's huge. And if everyone would participate in this program who's interested or hears about it, imagine how that would impact our health, our healthcare system.
Yeah.
It would free up wait times for the more chronic services in our communities. I mean, there's so many benefits. So again, it will help you with anxiety and depression if you are experiencing that, and many are through this pandemic. With a diagnosis, without a diagnosis, that's irrelevant. It's about how you feel. If you think that this is a program that will be able to support you, then by all means, give it a try.
Now, do you have any programs, or maybe this is an idea I'm shooting to you, but do you have any programs designated to people just in lockdown or people who just got laid off? Or
so we provide a lot of training. The coaches receive a lot of training to be able to deliver this program effectively. And one of the things that some of the training that's been added since the pandemic is really additional resources, because most of our calls are pandemic related anxiety, stress, low mood. So we really had to look at, okay, we already had these workbooks and a lot of them apply to some of the pandemic issues, but there was other concerns, layoff, financial stresses that weren't necessarily being addressed. So we added some additional resource for some of the things that have been coming up through the pandemic. So again, this program is ideal for those struggling with pandemic related mental health concerns, but also just generally speaking, it was already in place prior to the pandemic.
Cool. So Angele, where can we get more information? There's bounceback.ca. And is there any other way of contacting you guys?
Well, if anyone's watching, what we do offer is webinars. If anybody wants to schedule a webinar, again, if you go to our website and you contact us, you can request a webinar. It could be for a school, it could be for a campus, it could be for a workplace. If you want to start promoting Bounceback on your website, we have social media, digital campaigns. So anyone watching, if you want to just ask us a question, again, we can answer that individually. So there's lots of ways to learn more about Bounceback and how you watching can help us promote this program so that everyone knows it's accessible and available to them in Ontario.
Awesome. Yeah, I'll definitely stay in touch with you and let you know. And as I was talking before we got on air, I work with defeat depression.
Awesome.
So, and I would totally bring that up to them and see if we can, get together in the future and see what we can do, maybe for the Defeat Depression's upcoming walk in May.
Absolutely. Any way we can help, again, just reach out to us and we'd love to support your mental health initiatives as well.
Awesome. Thank you so much for your time, Angele. I hope you're staying safe and be well.
You too. Thank you for having me.
Thanks.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Thank you so much.
Have a good day.
You too. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you for joining me for another episode of Shower for the Soul. Don't forget to leave a review and send us some love. Now, if you have a suggestion for the show or just want to get in touch, reach out to me personally at hostshane@gmail.com or follow me on social. On Instagram, you can find me at either at ShaneFameCom or FameFriends. And on Twitter, it's at FameFriendsPod.